And that's about halfway through round 1 of Sullivan versus Blaine, Axis and Allies Anniversary Edition, 1941 setup. I am playing the Axis and Blaine the Allies. In the very beginning, Germany made an immediate full frontal assault into Russia. They didn't even concentrate on one sector. They just threw everything they had to seize as much land as possible as fast as they could. Germany lost, I think, 2 infantry, and the Russians lost 6. Yeah, and that was good for Germany, and now France and Northwestern Europe is undefended, but no matter. There's a new stock of infantry coming to help later on. Russia responded by doing nothing. It just built up. It built some more stuff in Moscow and moved a tank to Stalingrad to help defend it. It also has a huge stack up there in Karelia to defend against any antics with taking Leningrad. On Japan's turn, they... here, should I hold it sideways? Yeah. Or, yeah, okay. Will this make it upside down?
No.
No? Okay, good. That would be annoying. Okay, so Japan attacked everywhere it could. It seized Midway and also destroyed whatever was in Sea Zone 56. And however, now that aircraft carrier is vulnerable. The Philippines were also taken, as well as Borneo. And Soiwan, or however you say it, was seized by Japan. I forgot to mention that the Russians started moving stuff back to the front lines in the west. So Japan also downgraded its defenses there. And now Britain is doing its turn. And Blaine destroyed the undefended German transport in Sea Zone 5. And is buying an aircraft carrier, a transport, and a submarine. So we'll see you at the beginning of turn 2. This is the board at the beginning of turn 3. On Germany's turn, they did not move at all. Germany decided to wait and build up for their strike, or you know, whatever they may do. Russia doesn't know exactly where they're going, so Russia is building on every front. They also bought a bomber, and they sent soldiers to the Atlantic Wall, seeing that the United States and Britain are conjuring something up. Britain invaded Norway, which was left undefended after the Germans sent everything to Finland to pressure the Soviets. Japan pulled away from Midway and but left a tank and an infantryman on Midway to defend it, which were destroyed eventually, but the tank and infantrymen both died. However, they took 2 American fighters with it. So they did their duty. The Japanese invaded Hong Kong, and they took it. They took the East Indies. If they didn't do that last turn, I can't quite remember. They also took Burma, the Burma Road. And they also built an industrial complex in Manchuria, and they built 2 tanks and 3 infantry there, gearing up for an attack on the Soviet Union, who for 2 turns has been retreating their guys to the Western Front. So they are hoping to attack now and cause as much pain as they can to help the Germans out, who are sort of in a deadlock. The British built a battleship and other goodies, and yeah, I mentioned before they did that. They also moved a fighter from Egypt to India because they feared it would be taken. The Italians had a very good turn. They had their best turn yet. The Germans attacked Egypt last turn, and they weakened it, but they decided not to press on. So the Italians took it for free after the Egyptian plane left. So the tank blitzed through here, and they're going to South Africa. They also bought a destroyer, and they decided to help the Atlantic Wall. They sent up an artilleryman and an infantryman to help defend France because the Allies look geared to attack pretty soon. And so, yeah. What else has happened? Any thoughts, Blaine? Did anything else happen? Oh, we also forgot to do China's turn again.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So, China gets how many? 2, 4, 6. So they get 3. So, Blaine, you get to choose where they go.
Yeah. The British also moved these guys to...
Oh, yeah. This transport and destroyer decided to move out from 41 to 40, so they're in striking range of these Japanese transports, which have been sitting here with nothing to do. Alright, choose wisely, Blaine. Alright, well, he'll do that. You'll see what will happen. Oh, the Soviets didn't really do anything. Yeah. Alright. It is now the beginning of turn 4, and here is the board. This has been the longest turn by far. Germany lashed out and seized Leningrad. They got their bonus and a nice factory. Yeah, that was nice for the Germans.
You can't forget to do China.
They invested in some aircraft, and they didn't do anything else on that front. The Russians didn't do anything. Well, they did. So this happened, but they saw it was going to happen, so they moved some stuff in to help defend, but it wasn't enough, as you can see. And, yeah, and they also moved more stuff, as usual, to the German front. The Japanese, they had a decent turn. They invaded Russia, first off, and they also built an industrial complex in Burma, but then we decided that you should only be able to build industrial complexes on original soil of yours. At least that's what we think the rules are, so that's what we're saying for now. Not that Japan has actually built anything there yet, so it's not like it has changed anything. Japan seized Burma. I can't remember if that happened this turn. They moved their navy around a little bit, and they built 2 destroyers because the American fleet has come in. The Americans seized Midway, and they've built up. The Americans, well, the British invaded France, but they lost all their ground units, so they couldn't actually seize it. So on the American turn, they put units into France because the Italians foolishly forgot to reinforce France. So the Americans took it. The Americans got 6 IPCs and a national bonus, a national objective bonus. So that was very good for them. The British moved some ships this way. The Italians had another good turn. They've branched out into Africa. They've taken more land. The cruisers have come to Sea Zone 34, and they saved an infantryman some time. He was up here, but then the cruiser helped him get way down here very fast and seize Italian Africa. And the cruisers now threaten these British convoys. The Italians also bought a carrier. So, that's going fine for them. Alright, we'll see you at the end of turn 4. It is the beginning of turn 2. And, United States, last turn. Oh shoot, my stool lost its leg again. This stool sucks. Here, hold this. It's the worst. Okay. So now, United States on its turn. It destroyed the Japanese carrier, which so aggressively attacked whatever was in 56. And they also built a battleship and a submarine. They also moved one of their fighters onto a British carrier and moved stuff out of Sea Zone 10. Yeah. So we're gonna start. Did I mention what Italy did? Did I say what Italy did?
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Say that.
Italy. Here, can you shut the door, please?
Yeah.
Italy decided to not attack Egypt, and it instead sent 2 cruisers to Sea Zone 15 with a transport with an infantryman and a tank, and a fighter. They all went and they attacked Transjordan, while the battleship stayed in Italy. And then another infantry and tank boarded on the German transport. Then Italy bought another transport and an infantryman.
You did wait. You
Did I
forgot
say
to mention that
England?
What? Yeah, you
England?
said what England did. No, that was before.
What did I not mention?
You mentioned that you forgot to mention that the American
Oh, yeah.
destroyer killed
Yeah.
the cruiser.
Well,
Or
they
the,
both died. So an American destroyer went to attack the German submarine in Sea Zone 2, and they both died. So that was, yeah, that happened. So see you at the beginning of turn 3. Okay, so this wasn't the original final video, but my phone died, so we have to use Blaine's phone. So anyway, Blaine has conceded at the beginning of Japan's turn. We've decided that the Axis is going to win, mainly because Russia is probably not going to be able to live. It's not going to be super effective for very long because Italy is going to become a viable force which can start helping the Germans. And also the Japanese are looking very strong and they're poised to attack Russia. And yeah, the Germans just have a big production ability capacity. So yeah, you can see there. And also the Axis has a huge technological advantage. The Allies have poured like 1/3 of the amount of money that the Axis has poured. The Axis has paid lots of money into getting new tech, and the stuff they've gotten has helped them a lot. So, actually not paratroopers, that was terrible. Yeah, but long-range bombers, the super artillery has been nice, and that's what Germany's done here. They've just decided to go all out on infantry and artillery to get the most bang for their buck and just attack. Also, the Allied invasion in France was repulsed, and Norway was seized again. So yeah, so this was our first game ever on this board, and we think it's been very fun, but we want to get to another one. Blaine, do you want to point out anything?
Yeah, I think a main thing I did wrong in Europe mainly was spend so much money on this fleet in the Atlantic to take France when half those units didn't even do anything because I only had 1 transport to load units and I had so many naval units. I feared the Italian fleet a little too much. And in Russia, I played a little too defensively, and I let him take those first ones, and I eventually let him take, what is that?
Leningrad.
Leningrad and that factory, which was a huge hindrance on my production. And I let the Japanese get a little too close to completely invading Russia and coming from the other side.
What about your performance with China?
Yeah, in China, I did a little bit with China at the end, but we mostly forgot to use China.
Yeah,
about
like
China at all.
China either just didn't do anything, or it just, it wasn't used very much.
Yep, and so next time, in the Atlantic, I like the idea of having the United States help out in the Atlantic a little bit and mostly focus on the Pacific. But I would definitely build a lot less surface ships and just that kind of thing if I don't really think the Italian fleet, or if the Germans aren't even building a fleet, which is what happened this time. And then in the Pacific, I think my main problem was I really had a spread out navy. I built a lot of ships that I didn't need to, and I never was really in striking distance from the Japanese. And in this game, he had the long-range aircraft, which would have been a huge part of the Pacific War, and he would have had a huge advantage there.
Yeah, we know this could drag on for many more turns, but it's
pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Because the Japanese are pushing into Russia, and yeah. And also, I really undervalued Africa, and I just let the Italians completely take it. And yeah, I think that's
it. All right.
Yep. All right.
See you next game.
See you next game.